Today is the tomorrow you were worried about yesterday. With that being said, a very warm welcome to yet another installment of Galaxy Prime right here on Galaxy Universal Network channel 500 on StarSat. Today is yet another day where we bring you news and updates across South Africa, Africa and the rest of the world. Remember to wear your mask, sanitize, maintain social distancing, wash your hand with water and soap. Remember to sanitize. COVID-19 is still upon us, and it is all our responsibility to make sure that we protect ourselves and our loved ones. With that being said, let's get to our top stories. The Democratic Nursing Organization of South Africa, THUSI, says people are dying on stretchers while waiting for beds. The union says there's no capacity to admit patients. THUSI Provincial Secretary Mandla Shabangu said the situation is getting out of control. Since the beginning of December, hospitals have been experiencing a lot of positive cases when it comes to the staff and the patients. Many health workers are in isolation and in quarantine. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that.
The situation is getting out of control since the beginning of December. This hospital has been experiencing a lot of positive cases when it came to staff and patients, and you find that many healthcare workers are on isolation or quarantine, and there seems to be no plan of replacing those who are on quarantine. At some stage, you find that a ward full of 55 patients will be nursed by 2 nurses. And that is creating a serious strain because some of these patients, you find that they are positive, some are PUIs. They are just mixed all over because there is no capacity to hold either from human resource or from the staff that needs to be specifically dealing with positive cases. The situation is dire in this hospital. And you find that it seems like management is also confused. They don't know what to do because they seem not to have a plan of how to deal with the high rate of healthcare workers who are on isolation or quarantine. So those who are coming to work now, they feel strained because there's a high load of patients who are coming here without getting support from management. Nurses are really not coping in this hospital.
Last night, the president addressed the nation, and one of the things that was expected, and indeed he touched on, is the issue of vaccine. What is your view on the delays that the president spoke about on the issue of vaccine? Don't you think we should be prioritizing these healthcare workers that you're talking about here?
It is very disappointing to learn that the president is telling us about the second part of the year where they might be start distributing this vaccine, because to us, we think for a state to protect its healthcare workers should be a priority, because without these healthcare workers, the health system will collapse to its knees. Now, we are observing this attitude of the president and its administration that when it comes to healthcare workers, they seem to be taking a backseat in prioritizing their health. Instead, they keep on having this rhetoric that they are their heroes, they are our heroes, they are this and this, but their action does not show that. Because if the state was serious about protecting its healthcare workers, they should have done all the means to get the vaccine, especially to first give it to the healthcare workers so that the public can be assisted by people. Now you are finding a situation where there is no plan at all in dealing with the infections that are increasing on healthcare workers. But the same state is allowing patients to flock into hospitals without anyone assisting them. You find people dying on stretchers because they are waiting for beds. They cannot be assisted. There are no beds. There is no plan at all to deal with the issue of human resource which will assist our communities. We have a ground just down here in Clearwood. That stadium has been open, but there is no human resource to cater for those patients, so it is might as well not existing at all, because now patients are overflowing in this area. They are overflowing in Prince Msheni. At Prince Msheni, as I'm speaking to you now, all patients are rediverted now from all the private sector. They are coming to Prince Msheni and King Edward. Do we have capacity? The answer is no. There is no capacity at all.
Baba, very briefly, what are your plans in trying to engage the department? Have you tried to speak to the MEC or the leadership of the department in the province?
We have tried since last week the problem with the department is that they always want to hide behind being busy. Now, we have a situation where we keep on asking for their plan. A simple thing that, what is your plan on dealing with the second wave? We have not seen that plan. We keep on being told that there is a plan to deal with the second wave. But in our view, the department has no plan in managing the second wave. That is why you are finding so many healthcare workers being infected and so many are dying, but there is no plan to even replace those who have passed on. Those who are remaining behind are still expected to hold the fort. In the mix of the pandemic, they have not been given counseling, they have not been given their increment. The situation is...
Furthermore, the Correctional Services is warning people that there's more than enough room for everyone interested in who's not interested in wearing their mask in public. Under the lockdown regulation level 3, anyone who's caught without a mask in a public space will face a hefty fine of 6 months imprisonment or a fine or either both. Furthermore, the spokesperson of the Correctional Services Department, Singabako Ngumalo, said, we have to take these regulations seriously, and wearing masks is one of the things that will assist in managing the spread. And unfortunately, people who do not abide by this regulation will have to be dealt with. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Yes. I must say that it is true that around March this year, there were a lot of reports, people saying that the situation will look really bad in correctional services. And we said to the people, look, we are prepared for this. We will put up a serious fight. And indeed, we have done that. To date, we've only had cumulatively 8,462 people have tested positive for the virus, and officials account 5,418 of that number. Then inmates that will talk to 3,044. Unfortunately, we have lost 153, 94 being in officials and 59 being inmates. And I think all earlier reports were pointing towards inmates being, likely to be the worst affected. But reality has shown that our officials are the ones who are more vulnerable. And understandable so, because they stay in the same communities where the virus, is quite vicious. Hence, then we've lost this number. But as a department, we said, look, we've got a strategy in place that we've been utilizing. We continuously, adjust it, as we move along. And now we've said, okay, how do we then face off with this new variant? And again, the measures that we're putting in place now are to say the risk adjusted must pay attention again on prevention measures.
Let's go to some international news. A 10-year-old boy and his father were rescued by a helicopter from a car marooned in a flooded bushland after three of their friends who were accompanying them walked about 50 kilometers through Australia remotely to ask for help. Let's take a look at the highlights from that. Moving right along with some international updates. A construction of a major drainage project in Jordan's capital, Amman, has unearthed ancient Roman baths in the city. Let's take a look at that interesting insight.
لذلك عمان من المدن الكبرى الرومانية، ولذلك حمامها سيكون الحمام العام تبعها سيكون أيضا من أكبر الحمامات الرومانية، ولكن للأسف اكتشفنا الطابق السفلي وهو طابق الحرق والتسخين، واضطرت دائرة الآثار العامة لتوقيف عمل العبارة الصندوقية حتى نكتشف ونقيم الآثار الموجودة.
Now let's look at some updates from South Africa again. The Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, briefed the media on the immigration matters and the border law enforcement under the adjusted COVID-19 level 3. Let's take a look at that.
Members of the public listening through various platforms, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me take this opportunity to extend a special welcome to Mr. Tommy Makode as the new Director General of the Department of Home Affairs, because this is his first press conference in the new responsibility. Welcome, DG. I also want to extend apologies from the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Njabulo Nzuza. He will not be joining us today, and perhaps maybe for the next 2 weeks or so, because yesterday he tested positive for COVID-19. He's isolating at home. He's still symptomless. Just quarantined at home, away from the rest of the family. We wish him a very speedy recovery during these trying times. We have called this press conference to achieve 2 objectives. Number 1, to inform members of the public who will be crossing our land borders from the 2nd to the 14th of January 2021 about the plans in place to facilitate smooth movement. Our message will specifically target those who will be crossing the border into South Africa from our neighboring countries. But number 2, we want to provide facts about the port operations, especially as it pertains to the busiest land port of entry in our country, the Beitbridge border post, because it became apparent last week that lots of things are really not understood.
Furthermore, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi says the reason behind the commotion at Beitbridge border post last week were incorrectly reported, and this is what he had to say.
The period around Christmas last week, from the 23rd to the 26th of December 2020, events at Beitbridge generated a lot of news around the country, spilling into our neighboring countries and even going abroad. Needless to say, the massive congestion that was observed at Beitbridge was quite unusual, even by the standards of this time of the year, where we usually get lots of people crossing the border. But what generated news, which unfortunately were mostly negative, was the debate about what people thought was the reason behind the congestion. Many factually inaccurate stories peppered the news and caused a lot of confusion. Among these inaccuracies were claims that the government, particularly the Department of Home Affairs, failed to plan ahead and should have foreseen that this year there will be a lot of travelers crossing.
Furthermore, the police minister, Mr. Bheki Cele, is urging the members of the South African Police Services not to be heavy-handed on the level 3 restrictions. Cele further reiterated that if they are under threat, they must use force. And he further warned criminals that they won't have any leniency for committing crimes. Furthermore, Cele said it is not constitutional to be brutal, and you do not have to be brutal. But again, if it's not unconstitutional to let criminals go. Let's take a look at what Cele had to say.
Is still out in Durban today. He's monitoring level 3 lockdown compliance. He'll also be judging whether the province's festive season safety plans are working. He's currently addressing the media. Let's take a listen.
Divisional commissioners that are here, Mkwanazi, the deputy head of the Hawks, Mama Musigeti, bayakhala abantu batholo kwafika wena kuma-Hawks no trouble. Bablinda, the acting divisional commissioner detectives, but also the head of the FCS and generals from here. Ngiyezwa bayakhala batholo kwafika wena no trouble kodwa ngakawuboni mina. Ngifuna trouble mina. I just want trouble. And those that are causing trouble must get trouble. Mapoisa, good morning. Good morning, Mapoisa. Mapoisa, good morning. Morning, Mapoisa. Trouble back. That's fine. That's okay. But Masimula, you put your 7 legs of why you are here. This plan, Operation Tight Grip, was launched October in Putatichaba. We had planned to prevent and combat criminal activities. Fortunately, as a member of the South African Police, your job is not in the description and prescribed by your minister or by even the president. Your job is prescribed in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. If you go to section 205, sub 3, that tells you what to do as a member of this august organization. Yours is to prevent, is to combat, is to investigate, to make sure that all inhabitants of the land are safe, and make sure that you uphold the law, but most importantly, you enforce the law. That's what the Constitution says. It doesn't say you romance the law. It says you enforce the law. Now, enforcing, enforcing means enforcing. You enforce the law as you instructed by the Constitution. So, whoever asks me or ask whoever why police enforce the law, you read your 205 of the Constitution, sub 3, and ask the people who developed this Constitution, what did they mean by enforcing the law? Our job
With that being said, Galaxy Prime is taking a short break. We'll be back after this. Do stay tuned and engage with us on our social media platforms. We are Galaxy Universal Network on Facebook. We are GUN_TV_ on Instagram and on Twitter. Do stay tuned. After the break, we are having a guest here in studio who will be engaging with us about his career in the music industry.
Anger boils over in El Dorado Park.
Make massive moves.
Corruption allegations have hit too close to the office of the president.
America is crying out for leadership.
I'm the president and you're fake news.
Donald Trump has already started his attacks.
It is clear from the development of the disease.
It is still the biggest annual decline in 100 years.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
So from the theater stage to the kitchen.
I'm anxiously awaiting to see Sanaya.
What else is this if not love?
Make massive moves with Starsat.
A very warm welcome back to Galaxy Prime right here on Galaxy Universal Network, channel 500 on Starset. My name is GUGU THUSI, and this is yet another installment of Galaxy Prime. As I promised you that before the break that we have a guest in studio. But before we get to that, let's just recap on our top stories. Before we went to the ad break, we had mentioned that the Minister of Police, Mr. Peggy, was warning or urging the police rather to ensure that they are not heavily handed on the civilians. Furthermore, he warned criminals that there will be no leniency if they are found to have been committing any form of crime. Let's take a look at Mr. Peggy.
Is still out in Durban today. He's monitoring level 3 lockdown compliance. He'll also be judging whether the province's festive season safety plans are working. He's currently addressing the media. Let's take a listen.
Divisional commissioners that are here, Mkwanazi, the deputy head of the Hawks, Mama Musigeti, bayakhala abantu bathole kwafika wena kuma Hawks no trouble. Bablinda, the acting divisional commissioner, detectives, but also the head of the FCS and generals from here. Ngiyezwa bayakhala bathole kwafika wena no trouble kodwa ngakawuboni mina. Ngifuna trouble mina. I just want trouble. Those that are causing trouble must get trouble. Mapoisa, good morning. Good morning, Mapoisa. Mapoisa, good morning. Morning, Mapoisa. Trouble back. That's fine. That's okay. But Masimula, you put your 7 legs of why you are here. This plan, Operation Tight Grip, was launched.
We have to issue out that warning alongside with Mr. Pegitele, that be warned, police officers or law enforcement will be all around, will be visible throughout the streets, and ensure that you are safe, ensure that you wear your mask and you protect yourself, sanitize, continue to wash your hands and maintain social distancing. With that being said, we have our guest in studio, Mr. Superstar ME. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, thank you. I know it's not your first time being in our studios, and thank you once again for coming really to engage with us. Looking at your musical journey, you know, where did it start, and what really was driving you throughout your musical journey?
I think the first thing that was my driving force is my love for music. I think music chose me. For you to do music, you must be chosen. So I was one of the few that was chosen by music, and I started up from the church. At a very tender age, I started liking instruments. I started playing in church. I started playing piano. From piano, I moved to drums. From there, I started playing 7 major instruments: keyboard, drum, bass, saxophone, clarinet, trumpet, and flute. So that's how
all those instruments.
Yeah,
one man.
Determination, because I believe there's so much you can do if you put yourself to test. I believe I trained myself to love music, and from there it's been a journey.
Well, what are some of the challenges you've encountered in your journey as you're trying to, you know, grow your musical career?
For me, music is like business. It's like every other challenge a businessman faces. Even if you're selling a grocery shop, you have a grocery shop, you face challenges like finances. It's like that. That's what happened in music industry. One of the major challenges in music is, first of all, is the finance, getting sponsored. You know, be an underground artist, it's very difficult for you to get people to believe in your music. So that's the first challenge every artist watching or listening to me, they face right now. And the second challenge is ability for people to listen to your music and giving you listening ears. People don't want to listen to songs from bigger artists. They don't want to listen to you from the start. But it takes time for you to prove yourself, to say, no, I've come here to stay. I love this thing and I'm good at what I'm doing. Yeah, these are the challenges.
Right on that note of challenges, I think COVID-19 has really affected a lot of businesses. A lot of industries were affected by COVID-19. What are some of the effects that COVID-19 has had on your musical journey?
Yeah, I think the greatest thing in the industry, one of the way we make money from the industry is through performance, through gigs, and that have been cut short. No, we no longer perform because of social distance. So I think that's the greatest challenge most of the artists they be going through, and especially artists that they base their livelihood on this such performance, like DJs. They're really going through a lot. But for someone like me, I've been facing a lot of cancellation. Like 31st, I would be performing 31st, but the gig was cancelled. Obviously, I'm not going to get paid for the gig because of that. And luckily, I developed other skills of making music. So I am not experiencing it that much because despite I can perform, I also get clients to come to the studio to make 1 or 2 beats for my studio. Yeah.
As a producer, man, who are some of the artists that you've worked with?
I've worked with a lot of artists. I've worked with MT on a song called Brother Man. I've also worked with an artist called Moonchild. You know Moonchild Sanele. Yes. I did a song with her called Shokoloza. I've also worked with big artists from across Africa. The guy that did Wachichucha, they call him Yuri Dakunya. I've worked with him. I've worked with Praise, one of the biggest artists in Nigeria as well. Some of the upcomer Flow 88. I've worked with Obijo. I've worked with Samrik. I've worked with Kazi as well. There's a lot of artists I've worked.
So for an artist who's watching us right now at home, what are some of the words of encouragement to someone who's really passionate about music and they're really pulling through to come through into the music industry and be recognized and to get to a point where you are? What are some of the words of encouragement that you could share with our viewers?
For me, like I always say, music, there's a lot of challenges, but you must strive through your challenges. You must push harder. Never give up. Never stop believing in what you love. Never stop believing in what you love doing. And you might go through a lot of challenges. Don't stop. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. There's one part I like in the Bible that says, if you put your hands in the plow, don't look back. So when you're ready to, if you love music, when you put your hand in music, don't look back. It takes time for a corn to mature. It takes time for a mango to mature. So you must pass through process. The challenges you're passing through now is a process of growing, and at the end of the day, you're going to reach your breakthrough. Yeah.
Wow, that was Mr. Superstar ME really saying to us that don't hold back, don't look back. When you have positioned yourself to start and pursue something, ensure that you hold right through. Tell us about your song that we'll be sharing with our viewers, Heal Our Land.
Oh, Heal Our Land is one of the songs after my own heart, you see, because I'm from a gospel background. I'm still in the church, so I'm in the church choir, so I actually wanted to do a song that actually asking God to bless our land from this sickness, from the coronavirus, from the crime, from the atrocities that we're going through, the crime against humanity, the rape, the gender-based violence. So I wanted to write a song that actually speak about asking God to please hear our cry. For me, I'm one of those people that feels that coronavirus is as a result of God's punishment towards man. In terms of the crimes that have been committed, the ground is speaking, the ground is angry, blood have been shed, innocent blood have been killed. Instead, in the time of the olden days, so when there's too much sin, it sends plagues to clear the land. So I'm asking God, please heal our land from sickness, heal our land from viruses, from all kind of crime against humanity, negativity. So that's what the song is called about, heal our land. God, please heal our land.
Wow. And where do people get hold of you as we are about to close the show?
You can actually find me everywhere on Facebook, Superstar ME, or Wakina on my page. Then you can find me also on Instagram as Superstar_ME_. Then on Twitter, same thing as well, Superstar ME. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we are going to close today's installment of Galaxy Prime with a song, Heal Our Land. Do stay tuned. Tomorrow we have yet another interesting episode of Galaxy Prime right here on Galaxy Universal Network, channel 500 on StarSat. My name is GUGU THUSI, and from me and my team, thank you so much for joining us. Do continue to engage with us on our social media platforms. Bye-bye.
Mike, this life of crime is going to end. No, I'm tired of this. Trouble. No. Listen, you need to listen to me, bro. This life and stubbornness will get you killed one day. Mike.
Lord, we're sorry. We just want to ask you to heal our land. Bless this war. Yeah. Lord, we're calling you. We need your help. We ask, make you heal our land, oh, and bless this world, oh. Cover me, my Lord. Me pain and sickness that see me the wrong. All the things you do for us, I just want to praise you. Virus no go see us. Amen. Disease no go catch us. Amen. Cause you did our back end. Now you be our papa. As we dey pray, heal our land, oh. Heal our land, oh. As we dey pray, bless our Oh, na, 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 na. Make you guide us. Make you save us. Make you heal us. Oh, God. Make you guide us. Make you save us. Make you heal us. Yeah. As we pray. Our land, oh Lord, heal our land, oh. As we pray, bless our land, oh. Bless our land, oh. Oh na 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 na, alaba alaba yeah.
Mike, this life of crime is going to no, end I'm you tired into of this. trouble. No, listen, you need to listen to me, bro. This life and stubbornness will get you killed one day. Mike.
Lord, we're sorry.